All right, it works. Well, we're going on another ride and talk today. And today's subject is duck food. Now it's about 12 o'clock, noon. Going for a ride before my lunch. Heading back over to see if I can find some goodies. And I just wanted to talk about a form of terminology that I use. I seem to be the only one on YouTube that uses this term. And I think everybody that watches my channel or knows about me may know what I'm talking about. It's two words describing food. And one of the words is food. And that term that I use is duck food. Now, what is duck food? Well, it's what it says it is, right? Let's see, well, looks like it's a little past noon. You can see that the shadow of the traffic light pole is a little bit this way. The sun is coming a little bit from the south, so that makes sense because we're past the summer solstice. It's not directly over, a little bit off to the side, but it's still really hot. It should be about 95 or 96 degrees today. I think it feels like 93 right now, so it may take a while to reach 95, but you never know. Thankfully, this part of Miami is not as bad as some areas. One of the worst areas is actually Hialeah, which is supposed to be the least sustainable city in the U.S. I see somebody crossing the road, but I'm not going to take a chance. Anyway, I'm in no hurry. When I use the term duck food, am I actually talking about feeding ducks? Well, yes and no. I use duck food to refer to any low-quality material that people think is food, but really is nothing more than survival food, if that. So what would that be? Now, when it comes to real food, what do I think is real food? Well, you're going to have meat, eggs, some dairy. That's real food. And speaking of food, let me show you a little something right here. See this plant growing out of the side? This is actually a corn plant, it looks like, but it could also be elephant grass, but I think it's a corn plant. So a bird seed or something must have fallen in the ground and grown there. Now, one term that was used a lot throughout history, you probably know about, they would say that something is dirt cheap. But another thing they used to say is that it's chicken feed. Well, he thinks he's got a lot of power. All he's got is a bunch of backfiring. You put the wrong cam in the engine, you have a lack of vacuum, and well, poppity-poppity-pop, pop magnet. And here we are on the bicycle path, otherwise known as a parking lot. Got the lawn service here. Okay. Some toys somebody's throwing away. Well, kids would probably like that. I know when I was a kid, sometimes I get toys from the dump. My parents weren't too happy about that. Well, you don't know where that thing's been. Well, that is true, but it was free. It was better than nothing. Anyway, when it comes to the term duck food, and I was talking about things like chicken feed. Chicken feed is cheap stuff. You don't feed chickens with the best quality food. That's one of those things that is pretty obvious. Well, they're still working on this. It's been a week with this thing missing. Still haven't fixed it. Bunch of nonsense. That's what happens when you live in a third world country. What the heck is this crap? Fable's fence. It's crazy. pain in the ass. Guess they think they own the place. I'm surprised nobody called the county. Code enforcement would harass me if my grass was half an inch too tall, and yet they got this sidewalk tore up with no permit. It's been like that for a week, and I haven't seen anything. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, chicken feed is cheap stuff. So let's say that you had money and you went to a fancy restaurant and you were paying $100 for your dinner, and then they brought you out birdseed. How would you feel? Probably not so good. But what if they brought you a delicious ribeye steak as well as other foods? Well, it's still a lot of money, but you might go, hey, I feel like I'm getting something for the money. That's a good thing. Anyway, that's where the term comes from. The other thing is, the Muscovy ducks that we have around here that are kind of wild, they're basically feral ducks. Oh, looks like this place is open again. The feral ducks, they thrive on whatever they can get. They'll eat almost anything. They'll eat out of the garbage can. They'll eat food scraps. There are very few things that they won't eat. And I used to make videos when I had my ducks, laughing about the stuff that a duck would not eat. I think it's pretty funny. So I'd get a good laugh out of it, for sure. All right. There we go. I made it across. So when we go to the canal or any other place the ducks hang out, people will throw junk food like chips, crackers, bread, and they say, don't feed bread to the ducks, it's bad for them. Yeah, but you feed it to the kids. My parents said, don't feed bread to the ducks, but you're giving it to me. Well, that's different. And how is it different? A duck is basically something that most people don't like. You would think they would give your kids something tastier, like a nice piece of meat. I think this cat mailbox thing is funny. Looks like part of it's broken though. You know, the whole concept of duck food has been something that I've said for years and years and years. And to this day, I still laugh about it. And that van is still sitting there. It's even got one of them bucket lifts on it. There's gotta be a junk van here, someplace. I'll probably have to stop over there and see. I don't have a lot of spare money right now, but when I do, I'm gonna go searching, find myself a van. There's the dogs. Anyway. Yeah. So for those of you that don't understand my humor, you might see me put a comment on a video, say, oh look, duck food, or I don't eat duck food, or that's nothing but duck food. All these things that people get excited about, such as bread, pizza, donuts, and I call it duck food. Pretty funny, huh? That's just me. Anyway, so many stuff grows over the sidewalk. Sometimes I have to come through here with a hedge trimmer. It's so bad. Oh my goodness. It is hot. Don't know too many people that'll ride around noon. 90 plus degree temperatures with 80+% humidity, sweating it out and talking away. So, as some of my viewers have said, that is pretty unique. And I tend to agree. Well, I thought my garage is a lot more cluttered than that. I got twice as much stuff in half the space. I like the fake camouflage they put on the fence. It's cute. One way to get a fence without spending money on a permit. Okay. More junk over there. There is a lot of junk in this neighborhood, a lot of older homes. It was pretty common when I was a kid for people to collect stuff because, especially in the 70s, the way inflation was, you never knew when you went to buy something how much it would cost. So keeping extra parts and supplies was smart. And I have a feeling that's going to come back sooner than later. Looks like it might rain later. Then again, it's been threatening to rain since last week, and it really hasn't, other than a few showers. Last good rain we got was last Monday. Oh, here we go. Hello, quackers. Let's see. Look at those duckies. Fresh duck. Oh, we got an injured leg on that one. Yeah. Cute little quackers. Anyway. Keep on riding here. Should be iguanas further down. So, when you see me talk about duck food, or anybody mentions duck food, hopefully now you know what they're talking about, what duck food really is, and why it's a thing. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. It's just, to me, those lower quality items don't seem all that appealing. I mean, seriously, if you had a choice between delicious ground beef and something like bagels, who in the world would eat a bagel? Bagel is just cheap crap. Handful of flour, some water, bunch of chemicals, bunch of air. That's it. Whereas the ground beef, you can cook that up and eat it, and it's delicious. There's also the debate between cooked and raw food. Some people believe that raw food is superior, and they may be right. But I tend to think that we humans have well adapted to cooking food. Here's the other end of the canal. No iguanas, so there's some ducks. No iguanas. You can see over here, the canal back there branches off. See, there's like that little notch where that canal goes in. It joins up with this one, goes through a culvert, then goes to the other side. It dead ends not that far from here. Hey, little ducky. Looks like a young, probably female. There's an older female right there. The ducks are awesome. I like the ducks. Anyway, I see that school is in session. Let me see what I can get over there at the trash pile, see how much activity there is. I see some people here, but not a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna check on it and see what happens. I hope everybody's having a great day.